Long before the great flood washed the world clean, the Bible tells of a time when giants walked the earth. These weren't just tall people, they were beings of legend, born from a forbidden union between divine beings and human women. This distinction is key. The text deliberately separates these two groups, hinting that the sons of God were not ordinary men. It says that 200 of them, led by an angel named Samyaza, came down on Mount Hermon, while some translations give them a height of 300 cubits or more. This is widely considered symbolic or a translation error, where the line between the divine and the mortal had been violently erased. This absolute corruption is presented as the main reason God chose to cleanse the earth with the flood. But it still paints a picture of beings on a scale we can barely imagine. They were said to be voracious and destructive, consuming everything humanity produced. When that wasn't enough, they turned on people themselves, devouring them and even practicing cannibalism. According to Enochian tradition, the spirits of these dead giants were doomed to wander the earth as demons. They made an oath to defy God, take human wives, and teach humanity forbidden knowledge things, like sorcery, making weapons, and astrology. The identity of these sons of God is the real mystery here, and it has led to two major theories that people have been arguing about for thousands of years. The oldest and most dramatic interpretation is that the sons of God were fallen angels. People who hold this view point to other parts of the Old Testament, like the Book of Job, where the term sons of God refers to angelic beings. According to this theory, a group of rebellious angels came down to earth, took on physical bodies, and, stunned by the beauty of human women, started families with them. The children of these unnatural unions were the Nephilim, a hybrid race of angel-human creatures. They were described as heroes of old, warriors of renown, beings of incredible power and stature. This wasn't just intermarriage. It was a cosmic crime. It was a blending of the spiritual and physical, the heavenly and earthly, in a way that God never intended. This view suggests the Nephilim were a monstrous aberration, and that their violent and corrupting influence was a major part of the overwhelming wickedness that filled the earth and provoked judgment of the Great Flood. This interpretation might sound sensational, but it has deep roots in ancient Jewish tradition and was the dominant view of early Christian writers. To really get the fallen angel theory, we have to look outside the traditional Bible to an ancient Jewish text that expands on this story in wild detail: the Book of Enoch. While most Jewish and Christian denominations don't consider it scripture today, it was an incredibly influential text in the ancient world. They were called the Nephilim. So who were these mysterious figures? Were they demigods, fallen angels, or something else entirely? For centuries, this question has fascinated scholars, theologians, and pretty much anyone who stumbles upon the strange, short passage in Genesis that describes them. Their story is a chilling look into a lost chapter of human history, one filled with power, transgression, and a world so corrupt that it had to be wiped away. Today, we're going to look at the scripture, the ancient texts, and the competing theories to figure out just who these ancient titans really were. It all starts with just a few cryptic verses tucked away right before the story of Noah's Ark. It's a passage that's easy to miss, but once you really read it, you can't unsee it. It sets the stage for a world spiraling into chaos, a world God was about to judge with a global flood. The account is short, but its implications are massive, raising huge questions about humanity, the spirit world, and the boundaries God put in place. What was going on in those ancient days that was so awful, so unnatural, that it played a part in the destruction of almost all life? The answer just might lie with the Nephilim. Let's start where it all begins. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. It reads, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward, when the sons of God went in to the daughters of humans, who bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, warriors of renown." Let's break this down, because every word here is a clue. First, you have the name itself is a source of huge debate. The Hebrew root word is Nephil, so Nephilim could be translated as the fallen ones. But when the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek, the translators used the word gigantes, which is where we get our word giants. So, were they fallen beings, or were they literal giants? The text seems to suggest they were both. Then there's the parentage, the sons of God and the daughters of humans. The book of Enoch calls the angelic rebels, the Watchers, their children. The Nephilim are depicted in Enoch as colossal giants. The book of Enoch paints a terrifying picture, a world completely overrun by these monstrous beings. While the fallen angel theory is compelling, another major interpretation offers a much more grounded, human explanation. The Sethite view. This theory argues that the sons of God weren't angels at all, but were the male descendants of Seth, Adam and Eve's righteous son. The godly line of Seth, who had kept the faith, began to intermarry with the ungodly line of Cain. This mixing of the righteous with the wicked led to a total moral and spiritual collapse. The fall that created the Nephilim wasn't a fall from heaven, but a fall from grace. The daughters of men were then the female descendants of Seth's rebellious brother, Cain. So, who were the Nephilim? Were they the giant, hybrid offspring of fallen angels, whose monstrous appetites corrupted the ancient world? Or were they the powerful, tyrannical human rulers born from the union of the righteous and the wicked, whose pride brought the world to ruin, and the thin veil between our world and the one we can't see? Their story remains one of the Bible's most puzzling and debated passages, a haunting reminder of a time when giants walked the earth, and the world was changed forever. But what do you think? Were the Nephilim the giant offspring of fallen angels, a powerful line of human kings, or something else entirely? Let me know your theory in the comments section below. And if you found this look into a biblical mystery interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations of ancient secrets. The biblical text is tantalizingly brief, leaving the door wide open for debate. The story, in this case, isn't about supernatural transgression, but about spiritual compromise. At its core, it's a story about boundaries. Whether the line being crossed was between heaven and earth, or between the holy and the worldly, the result was the same: corruption, chaos, and judgment. Some modern theologians have even proposed a messianic sabotage theory, which speculates that the goal of this forbidden union was a satanic plot to corrupt the human bloodline and prevent the eventual birth of the promised Messiah. In this interpretation, the Nephilim weren't angel-human hybrids. They were 100% human. But this mixed heritage created leaders who were powerful, famous, and often tyrannical, they claim. There we saw the Nephilim, and we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them. They were giants in their power, influence, and pride, mighty kings and warriors who ruled with an iron fist. The great sin here wasn't a violation of cosmic order, but the abandonment of faith, which led to a society so corrupt it had to be destroyed. But here's a huge puzzle in the Nephilim story. Their appearance after the flood. Genesis 6-4 clearly states the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward. If the flood wiped out everyone but Noah and his family, how could there be Nephilim later? Centuries later, when Israelite spies are scouting out the land of Canaan, they come back with a chilling report in Numbers 13:33. This raises a few possibilities. One is that another group of sons of God came down after the flood and started the process all over again. Another, more common view, is that Nephilim had become a general term for the giant clans living in Canaan. Like the Anakim and the spies, terrified by the sheer size of these Canaanite warriors, might have used the legendary name Nephilim as an exaggeration born of fear, just to get across how intimidating their enemies were. These later giants, which included the famous Goliath, are sometimes linked genealogically to the Nephilim, suggesting that some remnant of these powerful bloodlines survived and had to be conquered by Israel's heroes, like Joshua and David. But the story of the Nephilim isn't just about giants. The enduring legacy of the Nephilim is how they continue to capture our imagination, reminding us of the mysteries of the past.